Hello, it's time for another President's Post. I am the president of the MNMAA Alumni Association, Lenore Borner. And today's post, I want to update you on issues related to the first post. The MNMAA Alumni Association, its officers, its board members, were recently quite shocked because we had some unexpected news. What we got was excellent feedback on that first vlog from members, from other people who watched the vlog and were shocked just as we were. It was nice to find out that we were not alone. That it's not just me, it's not just the board. If you look at our banner, we mentioned three things: 100% transparency, that the students at the school must be the highest priority, their education must be the highest priority, not fundraising. And the third principle on our banner is that autism, in the form of Dr. Isaiah Mason, must be eliminated. And we know Dr. Mason is the CEO of MNMAA currently. I want to update you all that the association, the board members, and all of our members truly value the students there at the school and the education that they're getting there. It's not about the money. Our interest is in the students. We want them to have the same experience that we did growing up and eventually graduating from MNMAA and looking back on it as such a positive and warm and wonderful experience. Now, for my update from out and about, I heard from deaf people, hearing people, parents of deaf children, and the feedback completely matched what we were saying. Over and over, people said they felt the same way as we were feeling about the school. There are two people in particular from the many who gave us feedback. Two people gave me permission to share their testimony. The first person is Dan Brubaker, and he has personal experience with Dr. Mason. So I'm going to put a link, which you see above me, to Dan's testimony and what he had to say about his experience. The second individual who gave us permission to use their words is Jeremiah Sammons. He also has experience with Dr. Mason. And he gave me permission to share his complaints and the letter that he wrote, which is Both of them have a history with Dr. Mason, as well as with Dr. Porsche, Bradley Porsche, who's currently, well, was the principal and now is the executive director of the school, as I mentioned in my previous vlog. Now he has a history at Fanwood, the Fanwood School for the Deaf. So that's a good reason for us, the Alumni Association, to write a letter and present it to the school board. Because we want to open an investigation into both of those individuals, Dr. Mason and Dr. Porsche. I'm going to keep you up, and I will keep you updated in future vlogs. I promise. Also, as I mentioned before, in a previous vlog, there are 2 lawsuits against the school. The first case is was filed by Greg Osborne on November 12th of 2020. He's suing the school, and specifically Dr. Mason, related to his employment there. It's a civil rights case related to the Americans with Disabilities Act. The second case was filed by Dr. Julia Silvestri, and she's suing the school and Dr. Mason for Medicare recovery. And that was filed December 16th of 2021, just last month. But we really need a CEO and an executive director who are deaf and have deaf hearts, think like us, and share our experiences. We want them to value deaf students and value the school and as their #1 priority. We want them to feel about the school like we did as we grew up, that we had these beautiful experiences there. We have such wonderful memories. We were like a family. Milneck is embedded in our hearts from our years there. Hello. By the way, I have a little bit of information I'd like to add to my vlog here that I thought was very important to share. It's a question. Dr. Mason, Dr. Asaya Mason, is the CEO of Milneck, and she's a hearing individual. So here's my question. Now, she's the CEO of the school. Plus, if you look down the list of the board members, you can see that there's a lot of donors there. And looking at the board, there's a picture that really strikes me. It's of Dr. Mason. And the title under her name surprises us. It's CEO/board. Can the CEO of an organization simultaneously have a board position? We can understand having one job, one of those 2 jobs. We'd kind of like to know why she has both of those titles under her picture. It feels like a conflict to me. She should be focusing on one of those jobs, not both simultaneously. And I recently posted about 2 lawsuits that the school is facing. One was filed by Greg Osborne, who is suing for his civil rights related to his employment there under the Americans with Disabilities Act. And I want to comment a little bit about this lawsuit. You know, Milneck graduates a lot of students, and many of them come back, many of them deaf, come back and apply to work there. But it doesn't seem like they get hired. It seems like they all end up at the Lexington School for the Deaf or other schools for the deaf or other jobs. And this pains me. I think it's really important for any organization, and particularly Milneck, should hire their graduates to be role models to their current students. They can look up to these role models that are alumni of the school and say, gee, I can do that too. I remember in my day at the school, there was a mix of deaf and hearing teachers, but I looked up to my math teacher, Linda King. And that was because A, she was deaf. And we just really loved learning from her, getting feedback from her. We had great rapport with her. She was a good leader and a wonderful role model. You know, there's just something about deaf teaching deaf. Another comment I want to make is made by Amanda. She's a graduate of MNMAA. And she wrote in to sub, for example, at MNMAA. She has a hearing brother, by the way, and he also applied to sub at MNMAA. Now, Amanda was deaf and her brother could hear. Both submitted their resumes to be substitute teachers. MNMAA called the brother back and called him to sub several times, but didn't call Amanda. The question is why? Does MNMAA prefer subs who are hearing? I just wanted to share that information with you. Now, my last comment about in this area. Remember my second blog? I mentioned that there were two people who wanted to comment on Dr. Mason. One is Dan Brubaker, and the other was Jeremiah Salmons. I was talking to them, and it was interesting. And what really impressed me is that they brought up the issue of a non-disclosure agreement, an NDA. Both of them told me that they refused to sign the NDA that Dr. Mason handed them. They wanted to be able to speak up. They wanted to be able to share information with the community. But Dr. Mason wanted to watch out for what they had to say. So both of them gave me comments. Both are Gallaudet graduates and they work with Dr. Mason. So here's a question. When a private company asks someone to sign a non-disclosure agreement, it means they can't share information about the company, even if they quit or they're let go or they resign. And they can be sued because if you sign an NDA and then you later disclose to the public information that you said you would not, then you can get in trouble. But it's interesting that MNMAA requires NDAs of its faculty. Do you think it's right for a school to have such an agreement with its faculty? I don't think that's common practice in schools for the deaf. There's a lot of forms that you have to sign to be an employee, but an NDA? So that's what I wanted to share with you today. To help you understand what we, the Alumni Association, is concerned about and what we wanted to share with you today. Former employees, current employees, alumni, members of our association, parents of deaf children, all the stakeholders are who we want to reach with our President's Post. See you next time.